Okay, this is section 6-5. Now we're going to do trapezoids and kites. Okay, so we spent 3 full days on the parallelogram branch of all quadrilaterals. And remember, parallelograms had 2 pairs of parallel sides. Trapezoids have 1 pair of parallel sides and kites have none. Okay, so we need to fill out our flip chart for this part of the flip chart. Okay, under kites, we are going to have one theorem in this section, and it's going to say that the diagonals are perpendicular. So again, what that means is if I draw my diagonal here and I draw my diagonal here, they are going to cross at 90-degree angles. So anytime you have a kite, you will have a cross in the middle of it. Okay, that's the only theorem. That's the only thing about kites. Keep in mind, if you draw this diagonal in a kite, just this one, the other one it doesn't work. But you can always split a kite into 2 congruent triangles, which means what do you know about this angle and that angle? They're equal. So you also know that those angles are equal. And if these are congruent triangles, you know that that angle is equal to that angle and this angle is equal to that angle. So just keep in mind when you have a kite, you also have 2 congruent triangles, which means all of those angles are equal to those angles. Okay? For trapezoids, the only thing we know about a trapezoid is that there's 1 pair of parallel sides, which means if these are parallel, what do you know about those angles? They are supplementary. They add up to 180 because they're same side interior. That's the same thing for parallelograms, except parallelograms, it works all the way around. For trapezoid, it only works for these 2 or those 2. It only goes with the parallel lines. All right, right trapezoids. We don't know much about a right trapezoid, which is why it's not even in your book, but we do know that these angles are 90, and we do know that those angles are supplementary, again, because we have same side interior angles. Alright, isosceles trapezoid. Here's where the rest of your theorems are for this section. Okay? Base angles of an isosceles trapezoid are congruent. That means this one is congruent to that one, and this one is congruent to that one. When you're dealing with a trapezoid, the parallel lines are considered your bases. The other 2 are considered your legs. So this is a base, and that's a base, and these are legs. So base angles would be considered those 2 or those 2. We also know that the diagonals are congruent, kind of like the rectangle. Okay, just because it has symmetry. The reason why the diagonals are congruent is because it has vertical symmetry here. So if I have that diagonal and that diagonal, then they are going to be congruent. So anytime you have the diagonals of a trapezoid, they're congruent. And then you also have same side interior angles here. Again, just like the trapezoid, this angle plus that angle is going to be 180. Okay? Alright, so that's everything from this section. You'll have 3 examples. Okay, let's start with the kite. If I tell you that angle is 46, and I want to know angle A, angle B, and angle C. Okay. For angle A, we're going to use theorem 6-17, which says that the diagonals are perpendicular. So that's going to be 90. That's from theorem 6-17. Okay. For the other 2 angles, you're going to look back at that scenario that I talked to you about, how the long side of the kite, the long diagonal, splits it into 2 congruent triangles. So that means this triangle is congruent to that triangle. So what do you know about angle B? It should be 46 because of congruent triangles. Now once you have angle B, and you know this one is also 90, and you have B plus 90 plus C equals 180, and we said B was 46. 90 and 46 is 136, and subtract. C equals 44. Okay, so that's everything you need to know about a kite. You've got to be able to find all the angles. Trapezoids, you'll have 2 different kinds of problems for trapezoids. because you had two different theorems. And we'll say isosceles trapezoids. Okay. First of all, if I tell you this angle is 109, okay, I need you to be able to tell me all of the other angles. Okay. Z is also going to be 109, and we're going to pull that from theorem 6-15, which tells us that the base angles are congruent. X is not 109. These are same side interior angles, so that means they're supplementary. So 109 plus X equals 180. Subtract 109. So X equals 71. Okay. And that's from same side interior angles. And then if X is 71, Y is also 71 because of 6-15. And then your last example should be really easy because it's just like the rectangle problems we had yesterday. And if you know it's an isosceles trapezoid, if I tell you AC is equal to 2x plus 1 and BD is equal to 6x minus 2, then you would set them equal because the theorem said that the diagonals are equal. Okay, and this is theorem 6-16. That's 2x. Add 2. Divide by 4, you get 0.75.